Huntsville. We are in season 6, episode 9. So I'm gonna just go to
the good part.
Yeah, to a few key moments. All right. So what I did like was how it opened up. Melody, this is the only scene she was in. She was doing the property preservation, and Kimmy came through and she introduced Kimmy to somebody because Kimmy said she was ready to get back into work. So she did hook that up, and then she had a real genuine moment with Kim where she was saying she was proud of her, and she's fought through this, and I was trying to get back to business. And it was like a nice moment. The reason that I wanted to highlight this quickly was because the show was supposed to be based off of Black success and then businesses and all that kind of stuff. And Melody is still trying to show us that with the stuff she's doing, even though she's the center of the controversy in this show. She gave us working. She showed networking. There you go. Show the millimeter shirt. Because this is what the show that she actually pitched was supposed to be about. So I just wanted to say I learned a lot about property preservation just in that quick amount of time. You know what I'm saying? It's $1 billion industry. You can get with these banks and fix up the property and get checks off of this. Like, it was really nice stuff she was saying. And I know this wasn't like drama, but it was like, I need more reality like this. I don't need all of the crap.
But that's what OWN is for. So I thought. Why Carlos want to keep reviewing, because I love you, Carlos King. But why you keep reviewing like the issues with Roa and stuff like that? OWN is a different audience, and that's what I was supposed to get from OWN. This is like Iana Vansland and Dr. Phil and Soul Sunday's platform, right? Yeah. Like, this is what I wanted from them, and I really adored in this scene that Kimmy purposely did not tell Melody that Sheree was at the event, because you damn right. I don't want nobody telling me they seen my baby daddy, because that had nothing to do with me.
Melody told her. Melody said, I don't want to be updated on Martell.
I don't want to be, because that don't have nothing to do with her.
And that was nice that she respected it, because she said that. And this is what we were talking about earlier on the other show. I don't want to film with somebody. I don't want to talk about somebody. I don't want to, you know what I mean? Like, that's reality. That's how I am. If I'm not rocking with somebody, I don't want Karma to sit and tell me, oh, you know, girl, I don't rock with them, so I don't really care what they got going on. Like, and that's the truth.
And I can tell y'all in real time, what my baby daddy is doing right now is none of my business. When you're not in a good space with your co-parents and partner, that's not something, you don't need to know their personal business or bring it back to me or mention me in the situation. Like, whatever they got going on is on them. You know, so I appreciate Kimmy as the woman and not the reality star. Realized that and was just like, I'm not.
But it made good TV too, y'all. We was okay with that. It wasn't like I ain't see nobody say, Kimmy should have said that. You know what I mean? Like, no one complained because it was real. Y'all gotta start giving us real conflict too. Like, y'all be making this stuff contrived, and it just like it don't work in our brain. And this is why these shows is dropping, because we like, man, that ain't even ain't no way.
Tiffany and Kiki is contrived beef. It's trivial. It's stupid. It's dumb. Yeah. We don't want it.
Which is why they're able to film and be in the car together and all that kind of stuff. You know, they're fine. So, Stormy meet up with Tiffany. Don't care. Stormy just feels like when they make up, it ain't authentic. And they should, like, really, if they're going to really make up, they need to hash out the stuff and get all the issues out. And it's like, Stormy, shut up. Fall back. Like, I'm sorry. Just fall back. You are not the doctor. Let him handle that. Okay, so Tisha and Kiki, they're in the car. They talk about the drama. One thing is Letitia tells us that the streets saying that Tiffany is cheating on Lou. That was some stuff. Okay.
You know what, Tisha? Because I'm still mad you got my name, but I love you anyway, sis. You better be able to stand 10 toes on it, because you were the same one crying when Martell said that Marsau had 20 women and the whole internet thinks your husband is definitely cheating on you. So you gonna put these cheating allegations rumor off of, even though Tiffany is rude as hell, her questions was valid. Why are you kicked out of a goddamn office space when you're the majority owner? Right. So if you gonna go this low, you better have them up the receipts ready.
And be ready when she come back. Be ready when she come back to your marriage.
Be ready to come back. You better not be crying. You better not be having no mental breakdown. You better not be asking Marcel for help. If you gonna say Tiffany is cheating on Lou, you better be ready for it.
Yeah, because you know Tiffany coming.
I can't wait for it. I'm here for smoke, Tisha. But if you gonna do it, you better be ready to stand.
And I'm not saying you can't do it, Tisha, because again, she came saying something to you. You was offended. Cool. But the way you handled it, throwing out a street accusation.
Only offended because it's for real.
Yeah.
These questions is for real. That's why it was like, it's not that Tiffany lied. It's that the truth made you uncomfortable. So if you gonna sit around here and you want guns blazing, Tisha better be ready to stand 10 toes in. And I know the fuck that she better not be crying and shit on this goddamn reunion.
And you know,
because Tiffany hit below the fucking. I don't want to hear shit about below the belt because you put a whole cheating allegation on somebody's marriage out in the forefront. So let's do it, bitch.
Let's go.
Let's do it. All right,
we'll go to an ultrasound. Lou said he think the baby gonna make her slow down. She don't think so. She thinks she gonna get right back in the office and be able to do it. Okay, so then we get to Maurice, Kimmy, and Monster, right? They're having an issue. We talked about this before where she feels like Monster needs to do chores more, participate more, and he's not respected. When she says do it, he's not doing it. You know what I mean? And her husband is not enforcing it or whatever. So Maurice is now having Monster in boot camp. He got to get up by like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. They go work out and they got these goals or whatever. These 20 goals, a list of 20 goals that he's supposed to be getting. So Kimmy's like, okay, so it's chores on those goals. Chores not on those goals. So this basically means to Maurice, chores is not important. Even though Kimmy has said this to him before, he needs to get this done. And Maurice has agreed, yeah, you're right. You're not implementing it in your boot camp, in your plan, because it's not important to you. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to let you say one. Go, right? I'm going to just say this one thing.
Come on, you better speak on it, because I see it. It's right in here. It's in your chat. It's in your chat.
Maurice, right? Not last season or the season before, we see Maurice is upset with Kimmy because he wants sex, right? He wants sex every day, and he's not getting sex every day. Then his wife ends up getting cancer, right? And has to go through chemo and treatments or whatever. I'm sure he was scared with her. Oh, my God, this is crazy. We go through this. So we're on this season now. She's still dealing with cancer. Let's be clear. Kimmy is still going through radiation treatments as we are watching the show. So cancer's not over. She's done with chemo, but she's not done with the treatment. So she's still having to go get treatments for cancer. This is his wife, right? Stay with me, y'all, right? Now, not only that, but she has to clean the house, and you're not helping with the chores. You got your son living there full time, took it from his mama, because a man needs to raise him now. So you done brought your son in, and he's not cleaning. So now your wife, who has cancer, has had chemo, right? Completed chemo. It's lowered her sex drive, because that's some of the effect of chemo sometimes. So now her sex drive is lower. She's done had chemo treatments, and now she's having radiation treatments. Then she got to bring her ass home and clean up after you and your funky ass son, and you ain't doing nothing. So my only thing is, Maurice, don't ask her for no sex. Absolutely, don't ask her for shit. Not head, not anal, not a kiss, not a little bit of twat. You get nothing, because your wife is going through treatment for cancer, and you got her being your nanny and your maid. When we say stuff like Maurice is the best one and our Marceau is so misogynistic and sexist, I think Maurice is even more that way. And he's even more of a scumbag because he tries to hide like he's a good one. At least we know who Marceau is when we watch it. But just the way he's doing Kimmy, and she's going through cancer, that nigga is trash. I don't care what nobody say. I was like so disgusted with Maurice. And that's all I got, bruh.
You watched Insecure, right? When that was going on.
Yeah.
Remember that season when Tiffany at the bank, at Huntington Bank, I don't know if she worked at Huntington, but that's my bank. When she worked at Huntington and she told Lawrence, like, you the worst type of nigga because you a fuckboy that think you a good nigga.
Yes.
That's Maurice.
That is.
I put on Twitter, because I live tweet for Love and Marriage Huntsville, but I can't for Roa because I watch it on Peacock the next day. But I said on Twitter that it was interesting, the first scene where Kimmy saw Melody, and they kind of had a conversation about the woes of co-parenting right now. She never mentioned that there was a boot camp to Melody. Like, she had hope that, Maurice, she didn't mention that. This is the reality of the situation. I put it on Twitter, and I hope, Kimmy sees it. Maurice or Monster or Little Maurice is treating you and not listening to you because your husband don't.
Period.
He's emulating his father. You're a non-factor when you speak because you're a non-fucking factor when your husband does it. Like, he doesn't listen to you. We've seen it. You told him you needed help and you call Kiwi or Kawa or whatever. You call him a baby mama. That's not what she asked you to do. You don't listen to your wife. She says, I want to celebrate my milestone. And you tell her, I don't think we should because we still got that. You don't listen to what she's saying. And until y'all get to the root of that, y'all gonna end up on the road of destruction because Kimmy's gonna be tired of not going to be listened to and feeling like she has to keep dimming her light down for you to feel comfortable. Tisha may not, but Kimmy will eventually. I feel like Kimmy will leave Maurice before Tisha leaves Maurice.
Oh yeah. I'm not seeing a long marriage like Maurice, bruh. And this is a very intelligent woman. Kimmy is smart. And the thing is, Kimmy is also emotionally smart, right? So Kimmy can have a conversation. She is the best communicator on this show. Like, Kimmy is like super intelligent. She's not going to stay with you, dude. You keep this up, you're going to lose her. You are going to lose your wife with your behavior, with the way you're treating her, with the way you're ignoring her, with the lack of any compassion for her. Like, the fact that you know your wife is going through cancer and you ain't cleaning. She still got to do the chores. Even though she's going through radiation. Like, I'm sorry, but I'm thinking if I catch some type of life, altering disease, that my village is going to step up and not want me to do no fucking chores.
But what was it like when she was doing treatment? I want to know, if you're having these issues now and you're well and you're walking around and doing stuff, then what did the house and shit look like when you were down? How was Monster not in the house? This is where production pisses me off. There are questions in the confessional I would be asking for clarification. Yeah. So you're having issues with co-parenting now. What was the co-parenting style like when you were in treatment? Was Monster not home? And so you only seen this after, you were welling up, or was you living in filth and didn't say anything?
Did he hire help? And
didn't hire help? Like, what was that dynamic during that time? Where's Jalen? Was Jalen coming also to support you in the household? Like, was your house still being maintained? Let's say Monster was still with Kiowa. Okay, so what was like the everyday chores and things? Did you hire someone? Did Jalen kind of come? I would be asking in those confessionals way more questions for clarification. Yeah, and they never do.
They don't. You're right. Okay, so let me go back to my notes. So I was real irritated about that. This shows that this show can be okay without y'all hanging on to Mel and Martell's drama. There's other stuff to discover with these other couples, because that right there was triggering to me.
Only Kimmy and Marcel are more for Kimmy than Marcel. Well, wait, Maurice. I with Marcel and Tisha, they have some real issues there, but they want to be the next, the way that is presented, because I know that the Love and Marriage Huntsville people be watching these bloggers.
Yeah, they do.
So the way that it is edited and presented to us, you always say everything is fine, Tisha and Marcel, in your arrangement, right? Yes. Like, y'all don't give authentic and really what's really going on or what you really have problems with. But Kimmy has always been, like you said, very emotionally intelligent to say, I don't like that. So I particularly love that we're seeing more of what Kimmy is having a problem with, because Kimmy is the Cynthia of Roa. Yeah. She is very calm. She can get everyone together, but she also gives me storyline of her own shit in her marriage. Unlike Tiffany, because I still don't know what the fuck going on with her.
Right. And we know it's something, because Dr. What was his name?
Francis.
Francis.
We never saw y'all again after that damn trip. Something is wrong with Tiffany and Lou's marriage. There's some foundational cracks that they do not want to show, and that pisses me off, because Tiffany is the Sheree of Love and Marriage.
For sure. That's why that whole little showdown between the two of them was interesting. That might have been You might
yeah,
have
like Sheree makes
it. Yeah, I didn't care that Tiffany pulled a Sheree on Sheree. I was kind of like,
yeah, like they're the same person. You don't like Tiffany because she asked the questions and things you do on Roa, and that bothered you because who the fuck is you to be asking me these questions? Because no one asked you on Roa because you bring back the bones that people don't think about. Well, why were they comfortable, Sheree, with you saying, or what did you say in that moment, or da 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 da? They don't ask you that. So Tiffany was like your that Spider-Man meme with the fingers.
And that's why I think that is exactly why I wasn't bothered, because normally Tiffany's lines of questioning does bother me. And I'd be like, if you don't sit your, like, you know what I mean? Like I do. I'll be like when she brought up the monster stuff, or when she brought up Marceau and Tisha the first time meeting them. Like, it was like, hold on, cuz like you coming real crazy. But for this, I wasn't here for it. I was like, get your check. I was not mad.
Tiffany got an ass whooping on layaway though when that baby dropped.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not gonna be mad if some wigs is moved. I'm just being. I told you I'm not the person. Even though I'm Christian, David fucked up Goliath. I'm not the person that be like, there's no such rules for violence. Tiffany gonna meet her match. I don't know when it's gonna happen. But Tiffany does way too much for that ass, but not the beat.
But Tiffany sit back on her baby bump and say it like, yeah, I asked it. Like, it means like she knows she's pregnant, so she can do it. And it is hilarious to me. So speaking of Tiffany, next scene, Martell and Marceau get together. They meeting because they going over the books because the boy still ain't took his builder's test and he still ain't passed. So
I'm fit to go and Google, and I'm fit to find a practice builder's exam because bitches can't be that hard. It can't be that hard. I'm 2 seconds away from finding a practice exam to see how the fuck I do. Like, can I read something and figure it out? Because it can't be that hard.
You don't pass.
He's had this same storyline since he divorced me, and I think they've been divorced now for 3 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead. That bothers me.
They're meeting because Marceau is supposed to help him pass, right? And he's supposed to help Marceau work out. Like that was their little trade. But Martell still ain't, whatever. So they talking or whatever. And then he was like, yeah, I got Tiffany coming to meet up. We're supposed to meet up about this event, but I got to talk to her because, she was talking to Sheree and it was crazy. So Tiffany pull up. So then Martell asked Tiffany the question. She thinks she's there for something else, but he really like, are we supposed to talk about that? But no, yesterday you was asking my girlfriend, my friend girl, all these questions, and I just thought it was inappropriate. And I'm asking, did you ask her this? And she like, yep. Did you say this? Yep. Like,
let me tell you, MVP award goes to low-key Marceau, because when Marceau said, oh, gasp, what type of person ask these questions? Because I didn't know anything about this. Had me on the floor.
Because Martell did not prep him with the stuff she said. So he is watching it like
in real time. Like, what?
You asked her that? Yeah, I did.
Oh my God.
I'm pregnant. What you gonna do?
Ooh, that shit was hilarious.
It was crazy because again, I do feel like Martell's questions is valid because the audacity to ask these questions. She asked the crazy
optics is wrong because that's what it boils down to. Do you think the optics of two men questioning Tiffany about the way that she questioned Sheree was wrong? Because that's what the argument is. It's like 50-50 on Twitter. It's not that Martell didn't have a right to ask what is wrong, but did he need to go at Tiffany, who is also pregnant and also a woman, about your concerns? Or should he have said, hey, Lou, we cool. I need you to go talk to your wife, because she was inappropriate about that.
So I feel like I'm with both sides of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand both sides of it. I feel like the proper thing would have been to say, bring Lou with you. You and Lou come here. I do feel like he should have been able to ask her those questions that he asked her, and I don't feel like he needed to ask Lou those questions because Big Lou, the thing about sometimes when you tell somebody something, they go back and they tell the story, they're not going to make themselves look bad, right? So if he would have said, your wife did this, go talk to her, and Lou would have talked to her, Tiffany would have made it seem like, oh, I didn't do it. It wasn't, you know what I mean? Like, she wouldn't have really gave Lou what the hell she did. She was wrong as hell. So the way Martell presented it to her, how Marceau was like, you ain't asked that. Lou could have been there too, like Tiffany. You know what I'm saying? Like, so she could be like, yeah, I did, but your husband could understand how wrong your ass was. So I feel like, I think that he should have been able to ask her those questions, like to her face, but I think her husband should have been present.
And Marceau should have excused himself because really there was no need for Marceau to be there. And the optics of two men questioning them, like, if I had an issue with your spouse, I would not have went to your spouse. I would have said, hey, Candy, like when we were out, he said these different types of things because there's a rapport, right? There's a friendship there, right? I don't think Martell was, like you said, wrong for wanting to ask those questions. I just didn't understand, why did you tell Tiffany she was going to be there for something else, knowing you wanted to talk to her about the situation and not have Lou present? Knowing that as men, right? Like, y'all get that. Like, that's an understanding between y'all because y'all all misogynistic. So, like, you should have just went ahead as well and including Lou into that conversation, knowing that his wife is like 9 months pregnant. You shouldn't have been asking her nothing without her there. You know what I'm saying? So,
okay, so Marceau could have definitely excused himself. Wrong though. Marceau could have totally excused himself, like you said. I understand why Marceau didn't excuse himself. That was like live action tea, huh? What? Like, you know, and I'm gonna take you back.
We would call Marcel, Marina, you would be upset because we playing with your masculinity.
But he already acted like that.
You're acting like he needed the motherfucking tea.
The way he posts that picture of them in Atlanta, you know he like tea.
You know you like tea. You be sitting here acting like your masculinity is beneath this drama and this trivial shit, but you was ready to sit at that table and listen to that TV
And I totally get why I would have wanted to stay for the show. Can I just sit back and watch? I won't say nothing type of thing.
I would have said something, but I love a little bit of tea. Now, I don't like toxic tea, but in that case, I love a little bit of tea because you're right, because she was rude. That was uncouth of her. Who asked those questions with somebody they just met? Right. I also think that Sheree should have been
there. Yeah.
I think it should have been a conversation with everybody because Sheree is new. I can understand, but I also don't know why Sheree didn't check Tiffany in her presence. I don't get it. I would have told Tiffany from jump, oh, sweetie, I don't know. You must not know who I am, but we're not going to continue with this type of banter because what I do with Martell is my business. So I don't have to answer your questions because who going to check me, boo? You're not getting that off of me. I don't even know who you are. To think that you can come to me with these types of questions. We could talk about the event. We could talk about your pregnancy. What are you naming your son? But what we're not going to talk about is whether or not I met Mel and all this. That has nothing to do with you. My legs are not open to you. But thank you for your concern. But that's my vagina. I got this. Tell me about you, sweet pea, because that's not what we're going to talk about. I don't understand why Sheree didn't check that shit in the moment.
Sheree should have just said joggers. That's what she should have said. She should have joggers her.
How did you let your veteran self on reality TV take that goddamn bait?
And Sheree is pretty good with a comeback too. She's normally pretty good. So maybe she was just
so like,
she was shocked.
She was shocked. Why are you shocked? Like, because Love and Marriage Huntsville's on own, you thought these girls don't give what needs to be
given? They must not listen. Because we watch these shows simultaneously. I've watched Love and Marriage Huntsville since it started. Like, I have been watching it. So I feel like maybe
since Short Hair Male with the
with the blonde. So maybe these reality stars like Sheree and them on Bravo didn't think that a little Love and Marriage Huntsville like maybe they never seen the show or heard about the show. Although I feel like this show is big. I feel like Love and Marriage Huntsville
said she watched it. She said, because I know you're a cheater, because I watched your show. Yeah. So Sheree, you watched it, so you knew Tiffany was messy. Right. So I'm not even because I wouldn't have had to bring shit back to Martell, but a story of how I handled it. Oh, before you know, your friend Tiffany, you know, she tried to ask me some inappropriate questions. This is what I said to her, just in case it gets back that I cussed out a pregnant lady. I did not, but I told her we're going to redirect this conversation. I don't need you to talk to no goddamn body. That's a woman. Mm-hmm. What do I I'm going to tell you, baby girl, this is not appropriate. You can ask me my favorite color and some other shit, but you're not going to ask me about my pussy. Are you interested? This is why I can't be on reality TV. Y'all not catching me with that goddamn bait. I don't care if it's Tiffany or Marlo, aka Oliver Twist, who also was an orphan if you didn't read. She's not catching me in that BS because I'd have been looking at both of them. I'm not sure what you think you're doing. I'm not sure what the producers told you to do. But that's not happening here, beloved. That's not happening here. It's not happening here. That was the best part of Love and Man Huntsville was the back and forth with Tiffany.
Yeah.
And then she went back and told Lou like she was a victim. That's what made me slide down the wall. Your friend came up to me and was talking to me. I'm like, Tiffany.
But that's why, and this is like, even if people on Twitter that felt like Martell shouldn't have did it, 2 men doing that, whatever, like was okay. This is why I felt like he should have just called Lou in on it, because Tiffany can run back and play victim, even though you big and bad. You doing all this. How did you not tell your husband after the party what you did? Like, if you shady.
This is what I'm saying. Martell, to me, in my personal opinion, allegedly, I think Martell is verbally abusive anyway. And so you talking to women crazy is like a pattern for him at this point. And so I feel like when Lou told Tiffany, I'm going to call Lou and talk to him, why you ain't do that first? You can't wait to talk to a chick crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you can't wait to do something inappropriate, to manipulate the situation, to gaslight, to do whatever. Even though Tiffany was wrong for the line of questioning she did with Sheree, the fact that she was a woman, you still felt like she can come to you, and you have a history of seasons that show us that you Patricia. That's what you did to Kenya. You could have simply told Sheree, hey, babe, this is what I sent her. I'm not going back and forth with your little friend. That's what I would have said. The stud in me would have said, on bad. The stud in me would have said, I'm not going back and forth for her. This is my text message. If you have questions, come to me. I'm not arguing with your little friend.
Right.
Because she need a moment. I'm not doing that. If you're okay with that and you trust me, we moving forward. But no, Martell had to do all of this. Martell is the Patricia.
I'm gonna need listen.
He's
I'm gonna need men. I'm gonna need men to know how to be men better than Karma.
Why am I going back and forth with a bitch I'm not fucking? I'm not doing that.
Oh my God.
I don't do that with niggas I talk to. If you ask me about why this person, I'm not doing that with men I talk to, because men be getting in their feelings too, and I tell them the same thing. Listen, babe, you're important, but you're not hitting my Facebook. And these are the reasons why I'm not going back and forth with somebody that like my picture. I'm not doing that with you. So, like, I don't understand Martell's frame of mind, because I would have never went back and forth with lying ass Tiffany about shit. I'm never gonna talk to you. Like, it's not gonna happen. So yeah, Martell need a real nigga he worried about the But if Martell needs lessons from a real nigga, he can come see me for real.
I'm sorry, the way you did that, the way you
explained it, you can come see a real nigga.
Oh, the way you explained it just was like, oh, and Martell, you act way more feminine than that, and that is not masculine energy. So just for men, especially the 3 men on this show that are so manly and masculine, they gotta be, a certain kind of way, because how men, y'all need to pay attention to that. I'm gonna need y'all not to have less masculine energy than Karma. I'm gonna need y'all.
I can help you, Ray. Listen, I can help you, give you some tips on Monster as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can help you with that, Maurice, because if you have a boot camp, you need to incorporate is this going to be a measurable outcome? Is this going to be helpful? Is he going to listen? What is the difference between this boot camp and you telling him what to do? What is the difference? We could have had that conversation. I can help y'all, because unfortunately, as a single parent, guess what? We got to tap in masculine and feminine energy. So you can come to a real nigga. You can come on and DM me if you need some advice, because Danae Jackson up here selling $5,000 courses for Proverbs and Psalms.
Right. While we're talking about that, before you even reach out to Karma, to get lessons on how to be more masculine and operate in your masculinity, I'm gonna need y'all to get these journals, okay? Because she has these. Because when y'all talk to her, she's gonna give you some tips, and you're gonna have to take notes.
And I have a masculine book with weed smoke that I did for my little brother because he needed a composition notebook in college. So I got 2 niggas on there too. If you go to my Amazon account, and we can talk to this because I'm unlicensed. Let me make that clear. But I can give you some advice that y'all listening to the internet anyway and tweets. Yeah. I can give you some advice and some guidance on some things we can work out. But this I always want to talk about independent women. You non-masculine need to come to the forefront. You might can learn something. And then when you learn and you are in marriages, you can buy a candy book. Go ahead and put it on the screen.
Right. So that's going for the ladies and the friends. Because again, we call everybody out. We call the men out and we call the women out because that's what we do. Sometimes we fuck up too, ladies. So this book is actually about us and 10 ways that we can sabotage and mess stuff up. And I did it a lot. And I also tell other stories because I did talk radio for 10 years and had call-in shows. So y'all get a lot of information in a very quick read. So that's on Amazon as well. We out there, y'all support us, show us some love because we're coming back next Friday. Well, no, we're coming back Friday. Actually, Friday.
We're back Friday. Hot Topics is Friday though.
Right.
If you got some, because I be on the internet, but I don't be on the internet. At the same time, I only go down my friend feed and I have selected friends. So like if it's not with that, I don't really know what's going on per se. So if you got topics, you can DM her, you can DM me and send us the topics, and maybe your topic might make the list for Friday.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about it. It'll be fun. So that's Friday at 7 p.m. And then we'll be back next Wednesday at 7 with another review. So thank you guys so much for kicking it with us. Thank you for the ones that's in the playback. Leave the comments in the YouTube and I will comment back. We love you guys and we will talk to you.
Good night.
Friday.
Bye.